4.
This is DRL,
When in doubt, go flat out.
the Drone Racing League. Tonight, everything's bigger in Texas. Give it to me. Let's go! Including the pressure on the top 3 pilots.
That's tough.
As they attempt to stake their claim to the title of world champion.
Let's go!
The track may be virtual, but the physics, the controller movements, and the racing are real.
Come on!
This is drone racing.
I'm here to pour on the gas.
This is DRL. Welcome to the DRL Algorand World Championship, the premier international drone racing circuit. We are at the Esports Stadium in Arlington for Level 9, Texas. It's our first in-person sim level of the season, taking the best of both worlds and combining it into a mega mix. It is time for the first semifinal group to take the stage, and the excitement is real. Hello everybody, alongside two-time DRL World Champion Evan Heads Up Turner, as well as 2018 DRL World Champion Paul Nurkla, I'm Craig Hummer. Guys, this is the second year we've raced what we've called a hybrid season. And Evan, this course is really the true representation of what that concept means.
Absolutely. These are some of the most experienced pilots in the world. That means they're comfortable in their own environment, their own bubble, whether that's at home flying the sim or under the goggles when they're at an IRL race. This is different than all of those. They're sitting here next to their competitors flying the sim. They have the lights flashing behind them, the big arena, and sitting next to their fellow pilots. It's a different environment than they've ever been in before, and we're gonna see right here, right now, who shines and who crumbles.
When I got to compete in the DRL sim, the biggest struggle for me was getting hyped up, getting that energy, getting amped. And when you're in person, when you're able to look guys in the eyes, when you're able to see the fear and to try to drive home some of your own excitement and energy, that's when I did the best. So I'm excited to see who can take advantage of the opportunity to be in the sim, but also the chance to stare some guys down and just get into their heads.
Evan, look at him. He's back in his old days. He was the intimidator, by the way.
Let's go right now.
when Paul was on the stage as Nurk. We used to call it Going Nurk. Well, he's doing it again as a commentator. Let's meet our pilots in semifinal number 1. We start with our number 1 ranked pilot, Halo Walker from Germany. He flies pink. Amari from Iowa flies white. Maverick, who makes his home in California, flies red. Killian from France flies blue. Vanover, the 2019 DRL World Champion, flies silver. And Seba FPV from the Dominican Republic flies green and white. Semifinal 1, Heat 1. 6 start with one goal in mind. Positioning is everything in this sport. Through the U.S. Air Force Gate, they'll now go through the North Tower, an early lead for Maverick and Red.
Here we come down to the North Bridge, coming out of the Dragonfly Diamond. This is a differentiator on the course, and we're gonna see those trails split apart. Looks like Halo Walker and Maverick out in a battle with Amari and the white drone close behind.
After that South Tower is now the South Bridge. That'll set up the points cache gate. Halo Walker in pink in front of Amari in white.
We're coming down to the triangle slalom here. This is a very treacherous part of the course, and we see Mavericks make a slight bobble, falling down to the 5th, 4th position.
Halo Walker, our number 1 ranked pilot in the world, is the number 1 pilot in this heat so far. They are on to lap number 2. It's through the North Tower again. They'll drop down to the Dragonfly Gate. Halo Walker in pink, Amari in white, Killian in blue.
If my experience can tell you anything, it's that lap 2 on heat 1 is where the nerves are at an all-time high. People are gonna push for late passes, and you aren't used to flying under the pressure. Looks like Amari's gonna go for that late pass.
They go through the points cache gate. This sets up the Algorand Split S. And then, as you mentioned, the trepidatious triangle trail. Amari in white, Halo Walker in pink. They are fighting for the lead. Just a few more maneuvers through the Google Cloud Gate. This is a race to the finish as it's Amari and Halo Walker. Who's going to take the win? It looks like it's Amari in white.
Let's go! Let's freaking go! Let's go!
What a close race to start level 9, but Right, partner? That's what we would expect.
Absolutely right. I was just thinking about it going into lap 2. It looked like Amari was finding an extra gear, and that's exactly what he did.
Let's send it to the 4th member of our team, Layla Anna Lee.
How does it feel to race alongside chasing, like a cat and mouse chase, Halo Walker, a man who's just sat on your right?
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely a whole new experience, you know, just especially with the closer races that was. I saw us swapping back so many different times, lap 1, lap 2, and just coming to that, it was so close.
Were you waiting for that moment to take over? Were you holding back a touch there to plan it right?
So I know my lap transition's really strong, so just had to have a lot of patience to know even if I did seem a little ahead there, that's an ace in my sleeve, I guess, that I can pull it at the end if I need to.
Perfect ace. Thank you and congrats.
Thank you.
Evan, you know a thing or two about racing against Amari. This is what it looked like from his point of view.
Let me show you a classic Amari move. This is a veteran pilot flying like a veteran, quite honestly. He wasn't in the lead the whole time, and it didn't look like he had what it took to make the pass, but he was chasing down that pink drone of Halo Walker and really took the strategy that I've talked about before as evaluate after lap 1. You just got to stay up, fly a line that you're comfortable with, and then evaluate from there. That means that you're staying in the pack. You're not making dumb decisions that are taking you out early on. Now coming in through this U.S. Air Force Diamond Gate, this is time to evaluate. He sees he's maybe 5-10 foot back. That is one bad turn from Halo from making the pass. Looks like coming under that north bridge, Amari starts to make up that ground. Halo Walker's drone gets closer and closer. Now we're starting to see it flash in and out, and this is where Amari made his move, as well as Seba over Halo Walker. Down the Algorand Split S, and here it goes. Amari shined here in this triangle trail, up through this last one to the Google Cloud, making the pass, full throttle, and it was a home stretch from here. Amari with a Heat 1 win.
In this sport, wins matter more. And with that first win, Amari has booked his ticket to the finals. Great job by Seba to be close. All 12 pilots race each level. They're seeded into 2 semifinal groups, with the top 3 from each advancing to the finals. There, the winner of the Golden Heat will be your level champion. The pilots earn season points based on their overall level finish. The pilot with the most points at the end of the season is the DRL Algorand World Champion. Each heat is 2 laps around this Texas track. Paul, take us through it.
Off the start, pilots head to the U.S. Air Force Gate and North Tower. They drop down through the Dragonfly Gate and North Bridge toward the T-Mobile Gate. It's up through the South Tower and a dive under South Bridge before flying through the Points Cache Gate. Then it's the Algorand Split S and the slalom through Triangle Trail. Pilots fly up through the Google Cloud Gate before heading through the U.S. Air Force Gate to lap 2, or dive straight towards the finish.
Amari can breathe a sigh of relief, or he might just want to put his foot on the gas. Heat 2 is next.
The Algorand ecosystem is where monumental change takes shape. So come transform the world with us on Algorand.
The Drone Racing League, brought to you by Algorand, the world's most powerful and sustainable blockchain. By T-Mobile, exclusive wireless partner of the Drone Racing League. And by Points Cache, freedom to pay your way. Welcome back to Level 9 Texas here at the Esports Stadium in Arlington. We're just 1 heat into our first semifinal, and already Amari has qualified for the finals. Now here in the semifinals, they fly 3 regular heats, with each heat winner automatically advancing to the finals. Everyone else is subject to sudden death, where only the winner is guaranteed to advance. Evan, as we get set for heat number 2, how about this stat? That win for Amari was only his 2nd heat win of the whole season, so we know that's going to be a huge confidence boost for him. What other pilots were notable for you?
First off, what a stat about Amari. This is going to be a great way to start off this Texas level. 2 pilots that are notoriously good in the sim are Halo Walker and Maverick, coming in 3rd and 5th place in that last one. It wasn't a good heat for either of them. Halo Walker having a bobble in that triangle trail, pulling him all the way down to 3rd. Both of those pilots definitely are in their own head right now, but they have 2, possibly 3 heats to figure it out, and they're going to look to try and take that Amari confidence away and sneak their way into the finals with him.
Semi-final 1, heat 2. Better not break for Longhorns as they head for the U.S. Air Force gate. An early lead for Amari in white, but Halo Walker in pink right there.
We're looking for Halo Walker to make a push here. He was in the lead in Heat 1 and fell apart in the Triangle Trail. Keep an eye on that red drone and Maverick as well, coming off a slow first heat, but he is coming for revenge here, I know it.
Well, if any of our fans have watched previous levels, they know that the pink drone of Halo Walker, he loves to be a front runner. That's where he is right now, into that Algorand Split S, which sets up the long Triangle Trail.
Amari just creeping up on Halo Walker and actually making the pass. Whatever he learned from Heat 1, it's applying here, and Maverick goes down with prop damage, pulling it down to Amari and Halo Walker pushing for the lead.
Already on to lap number 2, that's the North Tower. They'll head now down to the Dragonfly Diamond. That sets up the loop-de-loop around the North Bridge. We've seen some accidents here during qualifying. Amari in white, Halo Walker in pink. That's your order.
Now, I think Halo Walker's going to try and return the favor here. Maybe he knows that Amari's in the lead, and he's going to push here in the Triangle Trail. I think he's either going to pass or crash trying.
Great job by both the white drone of Amari and the pink drone of Halo Walker. Nothing separating them at the moment as they head up for the Google Cloud Gate. This is the run to the finish, similar to the last heat. Can it be Amari again? It's close, but Halo Walker. No! Amari steals it at the finish.
They never left! Let's go!
Halo Walker once again holding down the lead for the majority of the race, but here in the Algorand Split S, Amari comes in a little bit tighter and keeps it a little bit higher coming through the end of the Split S, and that puts him out in the lead. It was a contentious battle back and forth between Amari and Halo Walker, but here at the end, you can see just how close these guys are to each other going through the finish. I couldn't tell when we watched it. We had to go down to the thousandths of a second to see it. And you can see going through, Amari is half a drone in front of Halo Walker, but that credits him with his 2nd win.
And as we take a look at Halo Walker's FPV run, it was only 6 1/1000ths of a second that separated.
What we saw was, I think, a little bit of a scared Halo Walker, if you will. Maybe there's a different word for it, but we're going to call it scared. He was in the lead early on, and he just knew in the back of his head, this is exactly what Heat 1 looked like. And then Amari just figured it out through the Triangle Trail. And here we come through the Algorand Split S, and Amari had a better Algorand Split S. And although Halo Walker made up some ground, it just was short of being enough. Going into lap number 2, I know for a fact Halo Walker sees Amari out here, and this is where Halo Walker buckles down. Going through this North Tower and coming down to the North Bridge, a very important part of this track where he actually is able to make up some ground on Amari. Going up through the T-Mobile Gate on the South Tower, this is where Halo Walker is running out of time. When you're a pilot like this and you're behind this late in the course, you have to do something desperate, and that's exactly what Halo Walker does. Amari knows he's in the lead, and coming through this Triangle Trail, Halo Walker gives it 1, 2, and one last push over through the Google Cloud Gate, and it just was a half drone length too short to take it away from Amari.
The leaderboard looks like this with Amari's 2 wins. You talk about awareness, Halo Walker, he knows there will now be a sudden death. We'll find out if Amari can sweep these heats, which means there would be 2 spots coming out of sudden death. The Algorand Split S is one of the more challenging elements on this course. Paul, take us through the maneuver, presented by the U.S. Air Force.
The Algorand Split S requires pilots to carefully balance speed and precision to execute a steep vertical U-turn through 2 gates. pilots climb to the first gate by pitching up at full throttle. They then briefly reduce throttle while rolling left hard and pitching up slightly as they pass through the suspended gate. Then it's back on the throttle when they pitch up to descend through the bottom gate at full speed. Entering the top gate with too much speed or turning too slowly will cause the pilots to take a wider line, increasing the distance to the next gate. The ideal line requires pilots to precisely time their rotation and speed in order to pass as closely around the gate as possible.
DRL and Algorand are coming out with Project Drone Galaxy, a new metaverse drone racing game. Join the Discord to learn more about it. Clearly, Amari's on form and has the others on notice. What pilots can stop the Amari onslaught?
The Earth is 70% water and 30% land. But the entire sky belongs to us. Copy that. Aim high, Airman.
This is DRL, the Drone Racing League. Welcome back to Level 9 Texas. 2 heats into semifinal 1, and only Amari has qualified for the finals. We are well past the halfway point in the 2022-23 DRL Algorand World Championship season, and here's where things stand after 8 levels of racing. No denying, Halo Walker is in the #1 slot, 10 points ahead of MCK FPV, who is 9 points ahead of Alex FPV. Then it is a large drop down to Pavelos, and Vanover rounds out the top 5. Evan, we just heard Amari told Layla he thinks the transitions are his key. Well, where can Halo Walker and the others counter?
It seems like the triangle trail is where Amari just excels over the other pilots. Honestly, from watching the racing, seems like Halo Walker maybe even has the advantage in most of these turns. But once you get to that Algorand Split S and that triangle trail, Amari makes it up time after time. So the other pilots are going to have to watch his line, make some changes, or maybe even just hope for a mistake from Amari if they want to sneak into that golden heat.
Concentration evident on these pilots' faces. Semifinal 1, Heat 3. 6 flags have ruled this land. Time to go conquer as they're through the U.S. Air Force gate. Now up to that North Tower. It's Amari in white, the early lead. Maverick in red sitting in second and briefly out in front.
Maverick was saying behind backstage that he was not going to step down. He was going to step up in this Heat 3, telling Amari that. You have to remember, these pilots are sitting right next to one another, so Maverick was trying to get in Amari's head over the break.
The pink drone of Halo Walker has found the front. Now they're into that Algorand Split S and down towards the Triangle Trail.
Here comes Maverick pushing hard, just like he told Amari, straight to his face, sitting just a few feet apart. I'm not stepping down, I'm gonna step up. But looks like Killian heard that and given him the same behavior.
Well, everyone can see drone damage for Halo Walker and Vanover. They have dropped off the back. Killian in blue out in front, Amari in white sitting in second. Remember, if Amari wins all 3 heats, there'll be 2 spots available in sudden death. Killian, though, trying to change that.
This is do or die right now. These pilots can hear us talking. Maverick and Killian, you have to push through the triangles. This is where Amari is strong.
I like it, cheerleading, my friend, as Amari tries to move back to the front, but Killian fighting him off. Here they go through the Google Cloud Gate. This is the sprint to the finish. Amari is 1-2. Will it be 3? Yes!
No! What else do you want? What other heats are there? Let's go! I'm out of here. You guys have fun. I'm clocking out. You guys have fun in sudden death. I'm gonna go to finals. Have a good one. Go.
Tell me a little bit about our emotions ahead of sudden death.
Yeah, I don't know. Amari is on a hot streak right now, and he's really, really hard to beat. getting a second going into sudden death is a really big confidence boost for me. So I'm just going to carry that momentum into sudden death. I know I have the pace. I'm only hundredths of a second behind him. And I'm just going to go do exactly what I did in the heat before into sudden death and then go on to finals.
So Amari has now left the stage, but on your right you have Halo Walker, someone who was playing cat and mouse chase with Amari earlier. How much of a threat is he for you?
Well, I mean, obviously Halo's our season leader right now, and he's proven that he's one of the best here. So it's going to be tough to beat him, but I know I can do it. I've done it before, so I'm just going to go out there and do it.
We're looking forward to watching it. Thank you.
Halo Walker led for a large portion of the race, but he made a very critical mistake in the Algorand split as he was trying to cut it as tight as he can to get into the triangle trail as fast as possible, but just barely nicked the inside of that gate, and that cost him the lead in this race. But then it was a three-way battle between Amari, Maverick, and Killian, and we couldn't tell who it was going to be heading down to the finish, but through that last vertical split S, Amari pulled out the lead and left Maverick and Killian in the dust, sending everyone else to that sudden death round.
This is Killian's point of view, and he has been close in all 3 heats.
Killian is the king of consistency this year, it seems, but this time he was fighting for the lead. What we saw was a strategy change. He knew that this was a do-or-die situation, especially with Amari as hot as he was, that this was his time to really push, because if he makes a mistake, he'll be going to sudden death anyways. He was in 4th early on behind Halo Walker and all those other pilots, but that put Halo Walker down, and it seemed to kick Killian into another gear. Coming up through this Google Cloud gate, all 3 pilots were right next to each other, and we saw lead change after lead change. This is the excitement we want, and going up to that North Tower, I didn't see any drones in Killian's view. He was in the lead, but this is where the mistakes and this is where the other pilots start pushing. Going through the T-Mobile gate into the South Tower, again, this is where the treacherous parts of the track come, those big technical parts of the track come, which is that Algorand split S that Amari seems to be so incredibly good at. Here we go, we're gonna start to see drones in his feed. Amari in there, trying to push there. Killian's giving it everything he has. Maverick doing the same, sneaks by him through a smoother line in the Google Cloud gate, and it was a race to the finish. These are spec drones, and Amari just had the better line.
Well, after the sweep, Amari definitely in the minds of all the other pilots, not just in semifinal 1, but the semi-2 final pilots that have been watching. This is going to be an interesting sudden death. 2 spots available with 5 pilots fighting for them. Evan, I think the biggest storyline that jumps out to me is that man right there, Halo Walker, the #1 ranked pilot in the world at the moment, is in danger of missing his first finals of the season. How does he deal with that pressure?
I tell you right now, if this is Halo Walker's poker face, it is not a great one. He looks scared. He looks just out of his element right now. This is not the normal Halo Walker we're used to. He's been making mistakes consistently in the Algorand Split S, but this is where champions are made. If you want to be a world champion, this is where you have to shine. This is what he's practiced for, and we're about to find out here very quickly.
Semi-final 1, sudden death. Last chance to bet the ranch on yourself. 5 pilots in the air, only 2 will move on. An early lead for Seba, FPV in green and white. Halo Walker in pink, though, has now found that front.
Halo Walker seems to be very strong at the beginning of this track. Coming under that north bridge, Seba getting damage early. This means we have 4 pilots left with no damage, and we're watching that battle of the Maverick, Halo Walker, and Killian.
Well, keep in mind, 2 pilots move on. So if you are in second, maybe not the best time to push the pace. Halo Walker in pink, Maverick in red. They are tossing it back and forth.
Halo Walker does have a slower triangle section, putting Maverick into the lead, but Halo Walker takes it right back. We're also seeing Killian in the blue drone start to creep up on that pack because he knows all he needs is a second, but he's gonna have to pass one of these pilots to do that.
Some distance now between the pink drone and the red drone, and Killian in blue. First and second move on, third goes home. Halo Walker in pink, Maverick in second. No, now they switch leads as they're under that south bridge. They'll go through the points cache gate into the Algorand Split S.
You can't give up now. This is where pilots are gonna push. This is where Halo Walker can bobble. They are going to the very finish right on top of each other.
Up through the Google Cloud gate, top 2 move on. Killian making a move. Halo Walker with damage. He's gonna miss out. Maverick wins it. Killian gets second. Our world #1 will not move on.
Let's go! Let's go! Go, Killian! Go, baby!
Maverick, we spoke about the fear of sudden death just a moment ago, and quite honestly, you didn't look very confident. You pulled it out the bag, though.
Yeah, I know. Starting off semifinals with 2 fifths in a row really tanked my confidence, but having that second place going into the sudden death really boosted that. But I don't know, all these pilots are so well, and with Killian and Halo Walker both in the sudden death, I knew 2 of us were going to come out on top. I didn't know who was going to be. Unfortunately, Halo Walker didn't, but fortunately I did. But it played in my favor, and I could not be happier.
And Killian, describe for me your emotions in that last race, because that was a quick changeover.
It was only like I got a lot of pressure with Halo and him, and I just tried to push and didn't make mistake to take first and second, and he did well, I think.
You did, absolutely. Thank you very much, and congrats.
Let's go, Killian!
For the entire race, it was a 2-way battle between Halo Walker and Maverick, with Killian close behind, trying to catch up. He needed something to happen, and Halo Walker, going through the Google Cloud Gate, comes inside and crashes out. That gives Killian this second place that he needs to move on to the final round. It's unbelievable to see a mistake like this when it was the last gate. He was there, he had everything that he needed to do, but he pushed it as hard as he possibly could, knowing that Killian was coming in, and boom, that drones out, and that puts Killian into finals.
Well, that mistake that Paul just highlighted, Evan, is what drone racing is all about. Can these pilots handle the pressure? That's always the third obstacle an opponent.
Absolutely. They're dodging so many of these gates, trees, tree houses, whatever you want to call them, but then there's the whole other element of performing under this pressure when it counts. We've taken it to this next level by being in this incredible arena. This is a confidence game at the end of the day, and Killian, he was in 4th place so early on, and for most pilots, that is the end of the world. They're pushing, trying to give it everything they have, and they make mistakes. But not for Killian. He is so mature beyond his years, and here he's watching, honestly, a pretty distant 3rd place, and he just turns that dial just a little bit more. It gets a little bit closer. Coming under this south bridge to the points cache gate. It's a little bit closer, and he knows that he's running out of time. He goes hard for that Algorand split house, an incredible one at that, and he's going harder, harder, and he was just hoping for a mistake, and that's exactly what he got. Boom, Halo Walker's gone. He doesn't need to beat Maverick, and we're gonna see them in finals.
There's your podium coming out of semifinal number 1. Amari, the 2020 DRL Sim Tryout champ, sweeps the field and assures his spot. Only the second finals that Maverick has qualified for, and Killian headed to the finals as well. Semifinal 1 showed the door to our number 1 ranked pilot. What does semifinal number 2 have in store?
Are you one of the millions surprised by Verizon and AT&T raising your rates last year? T-Mobile has price lock guarantee, and that means they won't raise the rates of your talk, text, and data ever. Join T-Mobile and experience price lock guarantee. I guarantee you won't look back. That's a guarantee.
Let's go! It's gonna be close. Yeah! Let's go!
The Drone Racing League, brought to you by Algorand, the world's most powerful and sustainable blockchain. By Dragonfly, North America made and manufactured drone and AI solutions. And by the U.S. Air Force. Aim high. Welcome back to Level 9 Texas, live from the eSports Stadium in Arlington. 3 pilots have already qualified for the finals, and now 3 more spots are up for grabs as our next group of pilots get set for semifinal number 2. Evan, let's not bury the lead, right? Halo Walker, our number 1 pilot, was just knocked out of semifinal number 1. That means the barn door just flew open for Alex FPV and MCK FPV. Are they going to take advantage?
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. The door's not just cracked, it is wide open for these pilots like Alex FPV and MCK. We're getting closer to the end of the season here, and season points are starting to matter a lot. You want to be the world champion, you have to be consistent. You have to perform when it counts. And if MCK and Alex FPV are going to make up those points, it's going to be on the levels where Halo Walker has these bobbles.
Go back to your years of racing, usually you were the #1 ranked pilot. But when you knew a pilot that was good on a course got knocked out, what did that do to your psyche? What did it do to your mental approach?
Well, it just made the moment even more exciting. I knew for a fact that if I was able to perform like I did, then I would move on and I would drastically improve my lead. I had my rivals over the years, but when I saw my biggest rival make a mistake, you have to be happy in your own sense because you know that this is your time to shine and make the most of it.
Let's get specific in terms of this level 9 course, and let's keep our focus on both Alex and MCK. Which of the two do you think this course favors?
Alex FPV all the way. There is the triangle slalom that Alex FPV is so strong in through qualifying. He set a time that was incredible with just 15 minutes on the track. MCK didn't seem to be very strong and actually ended up qualifying very low. If he can study those lines that Alex FPV had and make up some ground, this is going to be what he needs to get in and make the pass over Halo Walker.
This is semifinal number 2. Let's meet our pilots and the colors they will fly. We start with Alex FPV from Tennessee, flying the red and blue drone. Pavelos from Poland flies orange and white. Singu from Barcelona, Spain flies orange. MCK FPV from South Korea, purple. The veteran Gab 707 from Canada flies yellow. And Hyper from Florida flies green. Semi-final 2, Heat 1. A new 6, Mess with Texas. As they head for that U.S. Air Force gate, now it is up, of course, to the North Tower. They'll go through that, drop down through the Dragonfly Diamond. It's an early lead for Pavelos.
Pavelos wants to make a statement early on. He's in that battle for the 4th, 5th position for season points, and he knows Alex FPV and MCK are maybe in their own head right now thinking about this wide open door from Halo Walker, so this could be a great opportunity for Pavel to make a move.
Orange and white of Pavelos, the red and blue of Alex FPV, the yellow of Gab. They're your top 3, already into that triangle trail and going up through the Google Cloud Gate.
Alex FPV getting drone damage very early on, taking him out. This is an opportunity for MCK, but I'm also looking for those 2 orange and white drones of Singu and Pavelos to try and hold him off.
How about MCK, the purple drone making a move, but yes, Pavelos still in that fight. He's back in front, but MCK showing his nose.
This is coming down to the most technical part of the track, the Algorand split S. Let's watch to see who is able to take it tighter.
They drop down. It is the purple drone of MCK out in front. He leads them all through the triangle trail. They'll go up through the Google Cloud Gate one final time, and then we've seen this before, the sprint to the finish. MCK is good at it, and he takes heat number 1.
Let's go! Make some noise! Make some noise, boys! Let's go! Woo!
We talked about Alex's unbelievable work through the triangle trail, but he had a big mistake on the last gate of it, putting himself out of the race. Then, heading on to lap 2, MCK and Pavelos were continuing to battle for that lead, and MCK made an unbelievable pass under the North Bridge. He was able to get out front at that point and stay out front. Here, he's slightly behind Pavelos, but with a tighter line, tighter to the bridge, he cuts it tighter, heads for that T-Mobile gate, and he gets out front and holds that lead for the rest of the race.
As we take a look at Pavelos' point of view, Evan, there's a reason he's seated and ranked 4th in the world standings right now.
He really gave MCK and Alex FPV a run for their money right here. It seems that his struggle point is that North Bridge where MCK was able to make the pass. But he has to have some confidence coming out of that, knowing that he was in the lead and in contention for the lead for a very large portion of that race. It seems the triangle trail is where Alex FPV made up some ground and then boom, hits that last 4th one. And I know going into lap 2, all MCK's thinking is, if I get first, I'm in the finals. That means I'm making up a lot of points on Halo Walker, and he was just repeating that over and over. I know when the rivalry is so strong, it makes so much more emotion become apparent. We saw an MCK, and coming out of this South Tower, down to the South Bridge, we saw MCK make the pass, and I know it was just rushing in his head over and over and over again. You got this, you can make it. This is what's gonna put you back on top of the season standings, and all the way through. It got close there at the end by Pavelos pushing, but once I saw that straightaway, I knew MCK had it, and we saw the celebration of how much emotion came out.
He was only 7th fastest in qualifying. He went back, studied the lines, studied the other runs, and he is the best and fastest pilot so far, winning heat number 1 in the fastest time on the course we have seen. MCK showed he can handle the pressure. The other pilots definitely need to step up their game.
For more than 2 decades, Dragonfly has been engineering innovative UAV and AI solutions across industries in the public and private sectors. This year, we have released a new heavy-lift UAV capable of carrying more than 30 kilograms and the versatile Commander 3XL UAV that can accommodate a whole host of payloads, including our new LiDAR system. From landmine detection and EMS delivery drones deployed in Ukraine to our biometric insight AI, our reputation has been built on our commitment to engineer technology that saves time, money, and lives.
This is DRL, the Drone Racing League. Welcome back to Level 9 Texas. If you're just joining us, we're getting set for heat number 2 here in semifinal number 2, and MCK has already qualified for the finals. In semifinal 1, Evan, we saw our #1 pilot in the world, Halo Walker, make a costly mistake that he couldn't recover from. We just in heat 1 saw Alex make a critical mistake. Can he recover?
Alex FPV is so insanely fast on this track right now. I think a bobble like that will make him take maybe that top 5% off. He's not going to push maybe as hard, but when he takes that 5% off, he's still just as fast as these other pilots. We're going to see a more confident MCK in this one. I'm confident of that, but if Alex FPV can take that top off and just fly the way he knows how, I think he's got the speed to take any of these pilots.
Semifinal 2, heat 2. Act and fly like you own the saloon as they go through that U.S. Air Force gate up to the North Tower. Alex FPV, the red and blue drone, the early leader.
Alex FPV coming off that miscalculation from Heat 1 and that confident MCK that we've seen. Alex FPV needs to make it into finals if he wants to capitalize on that Halo Walker Air, but that purple drone is in his way right now.
Through the points cache gate, this is the Algorand Split S. We've seen so many lead changes in this one, also in the Triangle Trail.
This is the Triangle Trail we're so used to Alex FPV being dominant in, but it looks like MCK actually pulled away right there. MCK's going up another level. He's found that confidence, and he doesn't want to just beat Halo Walker. He wants to kick him to the curb.
On to lap number 2. They're through that Dragonfly Diamond, up, under, and over the North Bridge. This is the T-Mobile gate. You've got a big lead for MCK FPV, and now it's the orange drone of Singu who was in second.
This is something I was not expecting, I'll tell you that. Coming down to the Algorand Split S, MCK has almost a full tail lead over these other pilots. Alex FPV is going to try to make up ground, at least pull home a second.
Well, the line MCK has found is paying huge dividends. Not even close. MCK back to back.
Let's go! Woo! Let's go!
You looked at me with dread there, not really wanting to talk about this.
Yeah, you know, it's a tough spot to be in. P1 out here wrecked 2 times in a row, but we got 2 more chances at least, so we're just going to see what happens. Going to finish one here. You know, that was my plan last time. Just finish one and see, you know, if we're not fast enough, we're not fast enough, but at least just finish one, and couldn't get that done, so we're going to see what we can do in Heat 3 here.
Ahead of these races, Heads Up, who used to fly with you often and knows you very well, described this course as a perfect course for the type of pilot that you are. Where is it that it's not going right for you?
Yeah, just, I don't know, just not the confidence to step out of here and fly like I know I can. It's like you get in your own way a little bit. You don't want to, you're too scared to wreck, so you know, don't go fast enough. It's really just stepping out of my own way and getting it done out here, flying, and if it's going to happen, it's going to happen, and if it's not, it's not. Just got to get back to that mindset, and we should be okay.
I appreciate the description. Thank you.
Evan, as we take a look at this FPV rerun, you know all too well, right? There are mental games with the other pilots, but sometimes, as we just saw Alex hint at, it's the mental war with yourself.
Absolutely. There's no money for qualifying. When the pressure's on, that is what pays the bills. And it seems like MCK is performing just when it counts. Alex FPV, as he said in his interview, it's just not happening right now as far as his confidence goes. I'm confident that if he gets that poise back, he will be able to compete with the MCK. So let's follow him through lap number 2 to see what he's doing wrong. Going out of the US Air Force gate, it looks like he had a bobble there, turning a little bit too much, where MCK made up a ton of ground. Here's his strong section, the North Bridge, and he's able to keep the distance pretty close with MCK. Up through the South Tower and the South Bridge, we actually see Singu and Gab707 make up ground and get ahead of Alex FPV. Alex FPV wanted that second place, and he started pushing hard, and that's what forced him to make a mistake in the triangle trail right there. He says it over and over again, if he can get that confidence back and get out of his own way, he's got what it takes. But he has to prove it to himself and everyone else here.
Well, it's become a numbers game. There is a small silver lining for Alex FPV and the other pilots, in fact, that if MCK does win the next heat and sweeps semifinal number 2, there will be 2 spots coming out of the sudden death, which we know we will have. Singu has been a quiet addition to the flight deck in his rookie season, but after making the finals 3 times this year, this 23-year-old pilot from Barcelona wants the world to know he can never be counted out. Here's a closer look at why he flies, presented by Dragonfly.
Singu is the short name from singularity, and singularity comes from when AI will be smarter than humans, taking over the world. What I love about drone racing is feeling one with the quad. You almost forget that you're a human, and you all of a sudden are in that machine that actually flies amazingly well. I tend to fly very smooth, focusing a lot about the lines that I take and keeping up the momentum and the speed. I think that's the best feeling I have. What I'm most excited about is the experience of being here. The opportunity is such a privilege.
Tommy! How about Singu in orange right there in the lead just in front of Halo Walker?
I think that confidence and believing in yourself is the most important thing.
Do you want to fly like the pros? Download the DRL Sim on PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, and Epic Games. MCK is on a tear. The other pilots may need to tear up their playbooks if they want to stop it. This is DRL, the Drone Racing League. Welcome back to the semifinals of Level 9 Texas, live and in person on the DRL simulator. Here in semifinal number 2, it's still just MCK who is qualified for the finals. Evan, you lived it. I've talked about it for 7 years. None of these pilots want to go to sudden death. So how, other than MCK, do they approach this heat number 3?
This is a do-or-die heat. As we've talked about in sudden death before, anything can happen there. You can have the #1 pilot in the world get to sudden death, and then boom, make a bobble, and now he doesn't make finals. So somebody like Alex FPV, who should be so incredibly confident, he's going to give whatever he can to not end up in that scenario. It's in his back pocket, but you don't want to use that card.
Semi-final 2, heat 3. Lasso the competition and leave them in the dust. Early lead for Alex FPV, the red and blue drone. MCK in purple right there, as is Pavelos in orange.
This is a do-or-die heat, like we said, and that means that they have to give it everything, and it's going to happen or it's not, in the words of Alex FPV.
through the T-Mobile gate. They continue to ascend through that south tower. They'll drop under the south bridge. It is Alex FPV, red and blue, just in front of MCK in purple, but MCK is flirting with the front.
Let's see if that confidence can shine through. Alex FPV knows how to do this course element, and he is able to at least keep within hindsight of MCK.
No, Alex FPV has dropped back to fourth. MCK is in the lead. Keep in mind, if MCK does sweep, there'll be 2 spots coming out of sudden death. Pavelos, the orange and white drone, sitting in second.
Let's change strategy here. Pavelos is close, and Alex FPV is just outside the realm of possibility. Pavelos goes down with prop damage, which could be an opportunity for Alex FPV to at least sneak away a second.
MCK still out in front. Watch that purple drone. He's going for 3 in a row out of that triangle section. Now he's up through the Google Cloud gate. We've watched this before. Same script. MCK does win 3 in a row.
Let's go! Let's go! Woo!
With a pilot like MCK on the flight deck being so dominant, what do you have to do to beat him?
I think I just have to stick with what I know and just try to risk a little bit more, because I have a tendency to be a little bit too conservative sometimes. So I just need to get rid of that fear and just go for it.
Throw caution to the wind. Enjoy. Thank you.
The veteran, Gab 707, ended up in fourth. This is what it looked like for him.
The Professor Gab, he is flying better than I've seen all season here in the sim. Everything has gone against him, I believe, and it just hasn't been his year. But right now, it must be the arena. It must be this competition feel here in the arena. He's been able to kick it up a notch. He's not outside the pack, and he's not outside, honestly, the realm of possibly getting a win. He is there waiting for a mistake. His positions are third, fourth. There's 2 spots open in this sudden death. So if he can pull away a second, now that that top MCK is removed, that would put him into the finals, which would be incredible for his season standings. But what we're gonna watch here coming through this south tower is a battle of that purple drone holding off those ANSI drones of Pavelos and Alex FPV and Singu. MCK just had what it took, and again, he's just on another level right now. He's doing this for more than himself. He is doing this for those season points to take as much as he can away from Halo Walker.
We saw a sweep in semifinal number 1. We doubled down with the broom in semifinal number 2. This time it is MCK showcasing how good he is. That means we are about to move into a sudden death where 5 pilots will enter and only 2 will leave. So let's talk about it, partner. Pavelos, Singu, and Alex, they each had a second. You were just highlighting, right, how Gab has a chance as well. Let's talk about the men who got those second places. Does that add pressure because you know you were so close, or does that relieve some pressure because you think, oh yeah, I know I can do it?
Well, that second place definitely gives you that confidence of knowing that you can be there, but all of these pilots who've gotten a second have had some kind of struggle at some point, getting a fourth, getting a fifth, and that is what sticks in your head. It's so hard to give yourself the confidence of, oh, I got a second, I've got this, I got a third, I got this. You're thinking about, man, that fifth really got to me. I can't make that mistake again, and it's just human nature. So these pilots are gonna have to buckle down, believe in themselves, and think about the good.
Semi-final 2, sudden death. Time to will the odds in your favor. They're through the U.S. Air Force gate. Now they'll go up to that north tower. An early lead for Pavelos. That's orange and white, but Singu and orange right there as well.
This is going to be at least a 3-way battle between all these pilots who so badly want to get into the finals. There's a lot of value as we get closer to the end of the season, and especially for Alex FPV.
Under the south bridge, they'll now go through the points cache gate. This sets up the Algorand split S, and Gab 707 was briefly in the lead.
Wow, Gab 707 showing us that he's not here to play. He doesn't care that the sim has not been his strong suit. He's performing here in this arena.
A shift indeed with those standings. Pavelos, orange and white in front. In second, Alex FPV. Remember, 2 spots move on. We are on to lap number 2 through the Dragonfly Diamond. They'll go under and over the North Bridge.
We're getting a big picture look. Pavelos and Alex FPV out in front with Singu and Gab making up ground, running out of time to do it, but we're coming to that triangle trail where anything can happen.
The triangle trail where we've seen a lot of tension unfold. Here it is. Pavelos leads them. Alex FPV in second. They are your top two. 2 spots will move on. Oh! Alex FPV with a mistake at the end. It is Pavelos and Singu who can say hello to the finals.
Let's go. Let's go, Spidey. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Woo!
This is exciting. Sudden death. There's nothing quite like sudden death, is there?
Yeah, there isn't.
How nervous were you ahead of it?
I was pretty locked in, so I wasn't nervous at all.
And you were talking to me about focus. It worked.
Yeah, well, I've been through a lot of sudden deaths and it's always very intense. So I try to focus, to stick to my lines and hope for the best.
How long do you allow yourself to celebrate, and how long do you then turn around and go, right, we've got more to do tonight?
I'm thinking that I got more to do right now. So I'm just focusing on finals and trying to get my first level win.
Enjoy the finals. Thank you. Congrats.
Well, it was a 2-horse race between Alex FPV and Pavelos. These two had separated themselves from the rest of the pack, and it was all there to play for. These two were the ones that were going to be moving on to finals, but you can see Alex FPV cuts in just a little bit too tight coming through that Google Cloud Gate. That Google Cloud Gate has made 2 huge differences here in our 2 semifinal rounds on the very last pass through the gate. That gives Pavelos the lead, but we're playing for second place here. You can see just behind Pavelos, you've got Gab 707 and Singu, and we couldn't tell from the live action to see who it was that was going to be finishing first, but Singu just barely edges out Gab 707, and Singu and Pavelos are moving on to finals.
This is going to be tough for Alex FPV fans to watch. This is what it looked like for him. Oh, so close.
Oh, so close indeed. I'm sitting here as an Alex FPV fan myself. It's a tough pill to swallow. You can't blame Alex FPV. I'll say it right now. It may look as though he had it, but there's no rear view mirrors on these drones. There really isn't, and he knew it was close. He knew it was coming down to the wire, and he just had to go for it. It didn't swing his way, plain and simple. Really sad to see, but we're gonna jump into this lap 2 to see why it happened. He was in a fantastic spot coming up to this north tower, and he was in the battle with Pavelos, who's somebody who's been just consistently strong in the sim. Going through the T-Mobile gate, he just saw that orange and white drone of Pavelos, and he knew he didn't have to outrun him, he didn't have to beat him, but he heard the commentators talking about that Singu and Gab 707 making up some ground, and they really were. It was impressive flying from both of those pilots. He seems to get off his line here in these triangle slaloms, goes for it in the Google Cloud section, and it just doesn't go his way. Sad to see for Alex FPV, but I know he'll be back strong. He wants it.
Your 3 pilots advancing out of semifinal number 2. MCK headed to yet another finals. Pavelos and Singu will join him. Well, we just watched 2 of our biggest names will miss the finals, but that means the chances are there for new names to shine.
DRL fans, how are you feeling? It's time to get excited for a night of drone racing.
I think we're ready for some racing. What do you guys think?
The Drone Racing League, brought to you by Algorand, the world's most powerful and sustainable blockchain. By T-Mobile, exclusive wireless partner of the Drone Racing League. And by Points Cash, freedom to pay your way. Welcome back to the DRL Algorand World Championship. We are at the Esports Stadium in Arlington for Level 9 Texas, and we are set for the finals as our remaining 6 pilots take their places in the flight deck. Evan, it's a simple fact, right? Two pilots have not lost yet, MCK, FPV, and Amari. They both swept their respective semifinals. But one of them, right, is about to lose. How do they get themselves mentally ready for that simple fact?
Well, you don't want to be prepared to lose. Maybe you want to be prepared to win. And I think that's what MCK and Amari are both trying to set themselves up for in their head. However, when it comes down to it and you do make a mistake, you're human. It happens. It's how you recover from that that defines you as a pilot and defines really how you're going to perform the rest of that level. We are indeed going to see one of these pilots lose, and we're going to see if that defines them as a winner or somebody who just cripples up and falls under the pressure.
Well, now that we are here in the finals, there are 6 regular heats. Win any one of them, and you are in the golden heat. Once we get to the golden heat, it is winner take all. Whoever finishes first will be the level champion. It is time to meet each of our pilots here in the finals and remind you of the color that they fly. We start with MCK FPV. He flies purple. Amari flies white. Singu, orange. Pavelos, orange and white. Maverick, red. And Killian, blue. Finals, Heat 1. Go pilot, the hand you have been dealt. As they all shoot for that U.S. Air Force gate, they're through. Up to the North Tower, an early lead for MCK in purple.
This is the time to set the tone. 3 of these pilots have not flown against the other 3, so this is a completely new group for one another. We're seeing Maverick in the red drone try and peek his nose up there, but Amari and MCK, the 2 undefeated pilots tonight, really pushing for the front.
Up to that Algorand Split S. This is where we've seen a lot of changes there. And Triangle Trail. It's MCK in purple, Amari in white. They're first and second.
Amari had the better Triangle Trail and actually making the pass over MCK. That's where MCK was strong, but apparently Amari is stronger.
Drone damage for Killian and Singu. They have dropped back. The purple drone of MCK still out in front, but the white drone of Amari right there. Here we go. Under and over that north bridge. Now it's through the T-Mobile gate up to that south tower. It's MCK still in the #1 spot.
This is for far more than the first win. This is for pride and this is for confidence. Coming down to the Algorand Split S, it could be anyone's game. Watch for Amari to make a hard push here.
Well, Amari did take the lead momentarily, but MCK has found his way back. Here we go, up to the Google Cloud gate. Now it's that run to the finish. MCK there, Amari there, different lines, gonna be close. And it is MCK.
Let's go! Let's go! Woo! GG, guys! GG!
This entire heat was an insanely close battle, but 2 pilots stood out front. MCK and Amari were battling back and forth through the entire way. Amari, using the Triangle Trail, has been using that to pass at the last minute, but he didn't quite take advantage of it to the same way that he's been doing against MCK. These 2 guys are the ones that have been winning all night long, so it's been interesting to see which one of them is going to get the momentum from this early win. You can see just how close it was all the way into the finish between MCK and Amari. But I know that getting an early win, getting that early established dominance is going to give you momentum to continue to build your wins all the way through the rest of finals.
This is Pavelos' point of view and how close he was.
We talked about Pavelos having a real shot at getting into this golden heat because he's been so close so many times. And what that not only means is that he has the skill to do it, but that means he has experience in these scenarios. He's been in the front pack before, and he's been in that 4th/3rd position as well, and he's comfortable there. We saw that shine through. With a battle between Maverick and actually pushing for that top 4 pack, Pavel seemed so comfortable. He didn't make a bobble like Maverick and get prop damage and get pulled down into that 4th position. He stayed where he needed to. He was hoping for a mistake and pushing for a mistake on MCK and Amari, but he actually ended up having a very great view of the battle they had. MCK had a not great Triangle Trail, which allowed Amari to make up. Maybe that means Amari just had a really great one. But when it came down to the Algorand Split S, MCK took it another level, and that's what allowed him to get that 1/10 of a second gap over Amari. You know, that's not a lot, but every inch counts here in drone racing. Amari with a second, MCK with a first. They're the favorites for the golden heat, no doubt.
Well, you touch on a very important point here in the finals. Firsts, of course, That's what you're shooting for. But if you do get 2 seconds, that qualifies you for the Golden Heat as well. At the moment, only MCK is in that Golden Heat. Download the Drone Racing Arcade, a fun, free, and easy-to-play drone racing mobile game on iOS and Android. MCK's run of perfection continues, but there is a lot of real estate left before we leave Level 9.
The Algorand ecosystem is where monumental change takes shape. So come transform the world with us on Algorand.
This is DRL, the Drone Racing League. Welcome back to the finals of Level 9 Texas. MCK FPV won heat number 1 and has secured his spot in the winner-take-all Golden Heat. And Evan, we just watched that great battle between MCK and Amari. It seems like you all, as pilots, prefer those battles.
Yeah, I mean, a rivalry is what pushes us to be better. In my previous years of flying, I've always had some rival that's made me better as a pilot. And right now, it hasn't been like this all season, but Amari and MCK sitting right next to one another on the flight deck, flying the sim right next to one another. It's a situation they've both never been in before, and this rivalry is only going to get stronger throughout these finals.
Finals, Heat 2. Cowboy up and buckle down as they go for that U.S. Air Force gate. They're through, up to the North Tower. An early lead for MCK, FPV in purple, and guess what? Amari in white is second.
That rivalry is certainly shining through, but we're going to be looking for other pilots to sneak their way in. This is not a two-man show, and I know that they're counting on mistakes from these top 2 pilots. Looks like mistake number 1 goes to Killian.
Keep in mind, Amari got second in the first heat. If he gets another second, he will qualify for the Golden Heat. He's flirting with first, but he sits in second right now, still behind MCK in purple.
I know for a fact, I know Amari, he just wants to get in the Golden Heat. If he takes a second and gets there that way, and he goes down!
But Amari's down. An accident takes him out. So MCK in purple now has a lot of clean airspace. Sitting in second at the moment, but far behind is Maverick in red.
Yes, let's shift our eyes to that battle of the red and the orange and white drone. They both need a second. That barn door is wide open like we talked about all night long. Who's going to be the first one through it?
MCK continues to show he is a cut above. Through Triangle Trail, he'll go up to that Google Cloud gate, and first, that's settled. But who's gonna get second? MCK back to back, but Maverick gets the coveted second place.
Second! You got second? Let's go! Second place, baby.
Tell me, how aware are you of the people who are behind you and around you as you fly?
Yeah, so there's really one section in the track that you can see the other pilots, and that's in the split S. And when you don't see anybody while you're doing the split S, that's not a good sign. But I saw a couple quads doing the split S that time, so I felt pretty confident. But yeah, I got the second place, so I couldn't be happier.
Great to see you there. Thank you.
As we get ready for heat number 3, guess what, Evan? Let's talk about those seconds, because both Pavelos and Killian in earlier levels this season, they got into the Golden Heat because of 2 seconds.
That just goes to show they know how the game is played. They're not these flashy pilots who will go for the win and go for all or nothing. They've proved that they know how to take a step back and say, okay, I'm going to secure a second, and I'm in that same heat of the guy who won every single heat. And once you get to the Golden Heat, anything can happen. We've proved it time and time again, especially here in level 9, that once you get to those all or nothing heats, anything can happen. Maverick, the first person to secure a second place, he's confident, he's poised, and I know he's gonna go for a second, if not a first in these next few.
Finals, Heat 3. The chances are there to strike it rich. As always, the U.S. Air Force gate is first. They go up to the North Tower. Surprise, surprise, MCK in purple is in first. Singu in orange was in second for a second. Now it's Maverick in red, but it's also switching around to Pavelos. The one constant, the purple drone of MCK is there in front.
Maverick and Pavelos closer than ever. Now Amari sticking his nose up there as well. This is a four-way battle. Two really strong rivals. MCK and Amari seem to be pulling out as the top two rivals, but now Maverick jumping out in the front.
Great job by prognosticating, partner, as Maverick is showing his stuff. MCK has found his way back to the front, though. They are on to lap number 2, up to that North Tower once again. Maverick, the red drone. MCK, the purple drone. They are going back and forth.
Maverick, if you're listening to me right now, you have Amari down with prop damage. That means you and MCK are in a battle for that 1-2. A second place can put Maverick into the golden heat.
Well, Maverick's going for the win. MCK trying to sweep the finals after sweeping the semifinals. He's a long way from that, and he's got a pilot like Maverick with an agenda of his own. It's the Google Cloud Gate, and once again, the run to the finish. Purple, red, pick 'em. Who is it? It's MCK again!
Golden Heat, baby! That was so close. GG, bro. GG, bro. GG. Woo!
So we just spoke about the importance of second place. Well done. Looking very happy, but still very calm.
I mean, I'm staying calm and collected. I'm kind of going into my flow state now. I have 2 seconds under my belt, which allows me to go into the golden heat. So that alleviates a lot of the pressure that I had on me before. So hopefully me and Minchan can lock this off and just have a nice 2-person golden heat. But obviously Amari has a second already and Pavel's not far behind. So I'm sure some other people might get in the golden heat. But yeah, I'm staying calm and collected, flying my race, and just pressure's off now. So I'm going to go have some fun.
Well, with that second place, Maverick clinches his way into the golden heat. It was an extremely close battle between MCK, and you can see here in the triangle trail that they are battling back and forth. You can see Maverick's got that slight lead over MCK, but MCK keeps cutting it just tighter and tighter and tighter. And right here, this is the critical moment. MCK keeps it just a little bit more inside, up through the Google Cloud Gate, pushes it out front, and stays out front. That gives him that first place. He's got 3 in a row now, but we have 2 pilots for sure moving on to the golden heat. It was close though. These 2 were neck and neck, just hundredths of a second apart. So let's see if Maverick can use this momentum to get himself an actual win instead of just second.
Every pilot dreams of seeing his colors amplified on the finals board. At the moment, MCK, no doubt of that fact. But Maverick, as you've heard him talk to Layla about over the past 2 heats, he's feeling pretty good himself. Is a new duel developing? It's possible, but don't count any of these pilots out yet.
When I'm flying, I put my helmet on, my visor down, my mask up. You don't know who I am. Whether I'm African American, Asian American, Hispanic, white, male or female. You just know I'm an American Airman kicking your butt. I'm General C.Q. Brown Jr. Come join us.
This is DRL, the Drone Racing League. Welcome back to Level 9 Texas. We're halfway through the finals, and both MCK and Maverick have qualified for the Golden Heat. Nevin, as we get set for heat number 4, let's swing our attention back to Amari. He had that second in heat number 1, but since then, 2/6. So what does it take to turn it around and flip momentum on its ear?
This is what defines any pilot. We have a veteran like Amari who's been in scenarios like this before. He's also been on the flip side, or even earlier tonight in semifinals. He was riding that high of being unstoppable, and now it seems like the gates are just getting smaller and smaller every single heat, and he can't figure it out. But he's got 3 more heats left in these normal heats of finals, and I know if he can find that Amari we saw in semifinals, he'll be in the Golden Heat, no problem.
Finals, heat 4. Fly fast enough to make NASA notice as they go for that U.S. Air Force gate. Once again, an early lead for MCK in purple up to the North Tower. They will now drop down to the Dragonfly Diamond. The purple drone of MCK, the white drone of Amari. They are fighting for first. Oh, MCK with his first mistake.
MCK with his first mistake. Let's keep note of that. That can resonate through the rest of his flying all night long. He hasn't made one all event. Now let's shift our vision to Amari going through this triangle slalom section. He's out in the lead, and this is his moment to really shut it down.
We'll see afterwards if the other pilots admit that once MCK went out, there was a sigh of relief. At the moment they're racing, Amari the white drone, Singu the orange drone, Pavelos the orange and white drone. They're your top 3.
Pavelos really needs to push here. MCK goes down, leaving that door open for him to take out Maverick and get a second place that he needs. If he doesn't win, that's okay, but he needs to start securing seconds. If your name's Maverick, you're going to try and hold him off, take that second, and keep the Golden Heat as small as possible.
Well, Amari starting to love the way this is playing out. Up to the Google Cloud gate. Here it is, the run to the finish. He needed a second. Amari gets the first, and he is headed to the Golden Heat.
Yeah!
Drama, drama, drama. This has been exciting. What went right for you?
Man, that was like, I feel like it was my first heat where I really had a clean run through and through, really flew my own race. I didn't feel, obviously I've got pressure from the other competitors, but I really felt like I was the one setting the pressure that heat.
And we needed you to do this because you have been leading the way and been so close and been so ready. And we were expecting you to come into this final, and then you sort of took a back seat and we didn't know what was happening.
You know, there's a lot in drone racing that relies on peaking at the right time, and as much fun as it would be to come in and blow out every heat all the way into the Golden Heat, I think it's more important for me to find that ramp, and then hopefully at Golden Heat I hit that perfect.
And you timed it perfectly. Thank you very much.
Taking a look at Singu and what he saw.
So Singu had a great third-person perspective of that MCK error that we saw, the first one of the night. What I want to do is take a third-person look at what that means for MCK and the other pilots. From an internal perspective, MCK has shown himself that he's not perfect, that he is able to make errors, and every time he goes through that gate, it's going to be in the back of his mind. From an external perspective, that proves to the other pilots that they have the ability to beat him. Nobody's been able to say that tonight, but MCK coming home with a 5th place, meaning 4 of those pilots proved to themselves and MCK that they can indeed beat him. Amari regaining that confidence that he had from the early semifinals here in that white drone way out in front, and now we see that beautiful battle between Pavelos and Maverick. They've really turned into this amazing rivalry throughout the season, and it was really fun to watch them battle it out as Maverick tried to protect that 2nd place. Now we're watching Singu, who we're riding on right now, try and make the pass over Pavelos. It just wasn't enough, allowing Pavelos to get 2nd and Amari to get 1st.
The finals have gotten colorful. MCK and Amari, as well as Maverick, are all there, but pay attention to Pavelos. He has a critical 2nd place. Half our field is now headed to the Golden Heat. The pilots have to wonder, what else is possible?
Are you one of the millions surprised by Verizon and AT&T raising your rates last year? T-Mobile has price lock guarantee, and that means they won't raise the rates of your talk, text, and data ever. Join T-Mobile and experience price lock guarantee. I guarantee you won't look back. That's a guarantee.
Let's go!
It's gonna be close.
This is DRL, the Drone Racing League. Welcome back to the finals of Level 9 Texas and the Esports Stadium in Arlington. With just 2 more regular heats of racing remaining, 3 pilots have secured their spots in the Golden Heat: MCK, Amari, and Maverick. Well, we just saw in that last heat, didn't we, Evan, that everyone's human, right? MCK makes a mistake. That has opened the door a little bit for Pavelos. Talk about how much hope can be a motivating force.
Absolutely. Hope, we talk about it all the time just in the world. Hope can make people do crazy things, and that's exactly what Pavelos has going for him. We may not have talked about him much, but he has had 3 consecutive thirds and now a second. That means he's been sitting at the doorstep knocking over and over again, doing the exact perfect strategy, being more consistent than even MCK, who went from a first down to a 5th. Pavelos has been right there and doing the exact right strategy to sneak his way in through another second or maybe a first. He's gaining confidence. He has the hope now that everybody's making mistakes. This is a perfect storm for Pavelos to make it into the finals.
Finals, Heat 5. Pro tip, don't fly like this is your first rodeo. Already through the U.S. Air Force gate, they're up to that North Tower. MCK in purple in first, Amari in white second, and Killian in blue in third.
What I'm secretly hoping for here is an amazing battle to the finish between Amari, who already goes down. This is opening the door once again for Pavelos. Can he sneak in another second? He's gonna have to outrun the Killian and the Maverick.
Well, he's also gonna have to claw his way back from 5th. He's now up into 4th, but MCK FPV seems to have found his former form as the purple drone leads them all.
There is a 4-way battle for second place right now. They all want it so bad. They all have hope with Amari going down. And oh my goodness, it's who wants it that? Whose training is about to pay off? Pavelos is so close, and actually Singu goes down, meaning it's a 3-way battle.
MCK doesn't care who's behind him because all he has is eyes, clear eyes, I should say, in front of him. He'll drop into that Algorand Split S. They set up for the Triangle Trail yet again. He's shown he can handle it with poise. Oh, Maverick's down as well now. Half the field has had drone damage. This is going to be another run. MCK has come back and shown them all. He wins another one.
Killian steals it.
Let's go, baby!
The words flow state were mentioned earlier by Maverick, and I believe that's somewhere where you are at the moment, very much so. How did that feel as a flow of a race for you?
I just tried to fly like consistency. Like I just mostly, like, you know, the split S at the like very last gate is really hard. So like all I care about like safety at the line at there.
Tell me about your strategy coming into this competition, because as you came into this this entire level, I guess Halo Walker was the biggest competition at that time. What was your strategy then, and what will be your strategy for the Golden Heat?
For Golden Heat, nothing like special. Like I'm just trying to be not nervous, because if I get nervous, like I can feel my hands are like shaking, and then I can turn like tighter lines. So I think I would just try to be not nervous. Like it's game on, yeah.
Well, enjoy. Thank you.
The leaderboard has a new name to pay attention to. Second from the bottom, from France, Killian now has that second with only 1 regular heat remaining. If Pavelos or Killian can get the second that they need, we'll have a 4-pilot Golden Heat. Want to support your favorite pilot from home? Just head over to shopdrl.io to grab jerseys and the latest gear from DRL. We just heard MCK say the Golden Heat can give you shakes, but you have to get in there first. Who'll join the 3 that are there?
For more than 2 decades, Dragonfly has been engineering innovative UAV and AI solutions across industries in the public and private sectors. This year, we have released a new heavy-lift UAV capable of carrying more than 30 kilograms and the versatile Commander 3XL UAV that can accommodate a whole host of payloads, including our new LiDAR system. From landmine detection and EMS delivery drones deployed in Ukraine to our biometric insight AI, our reputation has been built on our commitment to engineer technology that saves time, money, and lives.
This is DRL, the Drone Racing League. Welcome back. Only one more chance here in the finals of Level 9 Texas for the pilots to earn their way into the Golden Heat. As we've said, at the moment, 3 pilots love their view. They are in. That's MCK, Amari, and Maverick. But let's play the what-if game for a second, Evan. I mentioned before the break that Pavelos and Killian each need a second. But if they go 1-2 in this final regular heat, we're going to have a 5-pilot Golden Heat.
Anything's possible in drone racing, that's for sure, but I really don't see that being too likely. My honest prediction is that MCK, Amari, and Maverick are going to try and guard that Golden Heat, but I'm cheering for Pavelos, and I think he's got what it takes to get a second, if not a first.
Finals, Heat 6. Who wants to leave the Lone Star State the star of the show? Already headed to that North Tower, and no surprise, the purple drone of MCK out in front. Pavelos was there in second for a while, but now it's the white drone of Amari who sits there.
The pilots who are outside the Golden Heat have to be in the mindset of it's either going to happen or it's not. We have Pavelos in the mix of that top 3 with Maverick closely behind, but Pavelos is the one who I called it. I think he's got a great shot at sneaking in.
Pavelos moves to the front, but Amari takes it right back, and now the purple drone of MCK is there. Those top 3 positions are flipping back and forth. Amari, MCK, Pavelos, nothing between them.
This 3-way battle is what we train for. This is what we practice for, and this is what defines everyone. How much time did you put in? How many late nights did you have, and how many early mornings? It always shows right here in these moments.
All these pilots talk about how much they have trained. Some drone damage from Singu. He is no longer a factor. MCK, the purple drone, back out in front. They drop through the Algorand Split S. It's the Triangle Trail yet again.
Pavel is so close. He has to give it everything. Come on.
He's there. Pavelos has moved to the lead. He just has to finish it off. MCK's right there. So is Amari. Does he get it? Yes! Wow. Pavelos gets the win!
Woo! Yeah, there's your lockout, dude.
The fastest time we have seen, and it's Pavelos who does it, and I love the fact that I step on the flight deck, and your competitors, your opponents, are cheering you on. They're happy for you.
They're absolutely not cheering me on. They didn't want to see me in the Golden Heat, but, you know, I had to show them who's boss in this track.
Now, how did you get it so fast? What did you pinpoint differently there?
I've been so close to the first and second spot this entire time, so I knew I'm doing everything right, and then, I just pushed, gave it everything I have in this one. So it worked. I'm super excited.
And we'll see you in the Golden Heat. Congrats.
Let's go.
The unexpected battles continue to dominate tonight. It's been awesome to see everything continue to change up. MCK still had this lead, but Pavel had that second place. He got in front of Amari, and you know that he held that second place already, so he was pushing to hold on to that. But he said, nah, I'm going to take this a step further. He comes out of that last triangle trail, pushes himself out in front of MCK, gets himself into the Golden Heat, and he has got all of the momentum heading into the last heat of the night. This, as a racer, is exactly what you live for, these close finishes, but having that momentum on your side is always a big opportunity.
Paul just mentioned momentum, and Evan, I really do feel like Pavelos just stole it from everybody.
Selfishly, I asked for the Pavelos FPV replay because I just wanted to see the fastest heat of the night so far, and I wanted to get excited about it. That was, oh my gosh, it was so crazy. It came down to the very end, and I was sitting there like the pilots can hear us commentating. I was screaming at Pavelos to go faster, and he did it. That is so uncommon. Usually you see pilots, crumble or try so hard that they end up making it worse for themselves. But he did. He was able to do it, and it was such a great race. Like, I could watch that over and over again. He was in a battle between Amari and MCK, both two pilots who were in the Golden Heat already, and they did not want to let him in. But Pavelos said, too bad, I'm just gonna outrun you. I'm not gonna hope for a crash, and here it comes. So we're going under the south bridge here. He sees the purple drone of MCK. He has Amari just to his left and come to the Algorand split S. I'm actively screaming at him at this point in live time. He comes through this last triangle, gives it the flick of his life, tack, and comes down to the final gate. He gets the win, and we're gonna see him in finals now.
Well, it looks as though Pavelos has saved his best for last. In heat number 6, he gets his only win in finals. 4 pilots are now about to decide it all. They race for all the marbles. When we return, the Golden Heat, as always, will decide it all. The Drone Racing League, brought to you by Algorand, the world's most powerful and sustainable blockchain. By Dragonfly, North America made and manufactured drone and AI solutions. And by the U.S. Air Force. Aim high. Welcome back to the Esports Stadium in the finals of Level 9 Texas. We have arrived at the Golden Heat, or I should say 4 pilots have earned their way there. MCK, Amari, Maverick, and Pavelos. They've all shown, right, Evan, that they belong here. You're the expert. How are you going to pick who wins?
Well, we can look at it 2 different ways. In a perfect world, if everybody ran their fastest heat, I think we could agree that MCK has the advantage. Well, the world is far from perfect, and so we can't expect it. We can't look at it like that. I'm going to go with Pavelos. I have to cheer for him. He's the underdog. I know the fans back home are cheering for him, and he's easy to root for. He's just coming off a heat win, beating out MCK by 1/10 of a second and getting the fastest time on this track. Let's go Pavelos, come on.
All right, there you go. The pick from the 2-time DRL world champ. Finals, Golden Heat. If everything's bigger in Texas, then this win is gonna be huge. They head for that North Tower. MCK in purple right there. Pavelos in orange and white. Maverick in red. They're fighting for second, but now Amari in white has moved into that slot.
The North Bridge is ever so important, and exiting it is even more so. Looks like MCK, Amari, Maverick in that order came out almost in a perfect straight line.
Now they go through the points cash gate, up to that Algorand split S. Pavelos, orange and white, was there briefly. MCK in purple, but now Amari in white is the leader.
Amari poking his nose out in front of MCK, going to Google Cloud. They are in a 4-way battle with MCK and Amari in the front too.
Only 1 lap left to decide who will be your level 9 winner. The purple drone of MCK. It's been out in front almost all night long. He just needs to seal the deal. They go up to the South Tower. MCK in purple still in front. Amari in white in second.
Watch the split S. Pavelos and Maverick making a move over both of them.
The Algorand split S. MCK, and Amari. They're both neck and neck. Here we go. They finished Triangle Trail up to that Google Cloud Gate. Let's run it into the finish. Who's it gonna be? It's too close to call. It is MCK.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. I did it. I did it. Woo! MCK, baby. MCK. Oh.
Good run, man. That was awesome. Good. So fast.
I tell you what, partner, This is what we sign up for, right? I mean, the excitement of this racing at level 9 has lived up to the billing. And I just want to go back right to MCK, not thinking he had a chance in qualifying, and he ends up being our level winner. Let's send it to Layla.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for our level 9 DRL Texas champion, MCK. Congrats! MCK, congratulations. A dominant win, a powerful win. But the difference really seemed to be you and your mindset this time.
Oh, like this time, I just tried to enjoy with people. When I was at home, you know, you feel lonely, so it's kind of stressful. So I think if playing it here is really different.
And how much did you enjoy this studio environment, your opponents near you? Even though I know the competition is harsh, having them around you changed it, didn't it?
Yeah, I think I learned something new today because, like, if you actually enjoy it, I think you can actually fly better.
Fly with joy. Congratulations. Hear it for MCK.
This is the level 9 podium. On the top step, MCK FPV. Just lower, Maverick in second, and then Amari ends up in third. We take a look at our U.S. Air Force fastest heat. He may not have been on the podium, but Pavelos earns this honor in heat number 6 in the finals, 1:15.981.
This is where the excitement really came down to heat 6 of finals through the triangle trail that we saw so many crashes, so many passes in, up to the Google Cloud Gate, making the pass and earning his spot in the Golden Heat. It was an amazing heat in so many ways.
Well, we talk about the pressure of winning Golden Heats. Let's talk now the pressure of the season standings. Halo Walker not in these finals, and it proves costly. MCK, with his win, now only 1 point behind Halo overall. Halo has 97, MCK has 96, and Alex FPV is in third with 76. That is going to do it for Level 9 Texas. Congratulations again to MCK for his second win of the season. Follow DRL on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and subscribe on YouTube. For Evan Turner, Paul Nurkla, Layla Anna Lee, and our entire crew, I'm Craig Hummer. Thanks for watching. This is a copyrighted broadcast of Drone Racing League Incorporated and may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of Drone Racing League Incorporated.